Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here once again, and I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Luigi's Mansion 2, aka Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for those of you who lived in North America, for the Nintendo 3DS/Nintendo Switch, as we are still playing through Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. So, last time, we've essentially did manage to fully complete the second mission in Old Clockworks, and that's what appears to be Mission C-2 Underground Expedition, where not only for the fact that we did this mission really dang well, but also we somehow got ourselves some more gems, and on top of that, we also did manage to capture the 12th boost so far throughout the whole entire game. And on top of all that stuff, that was about the fact that we've got so much money that naturally speaking now think we're about to be getting ourselves the final upgrade, but turns out about the fact that we were so close to able to reach ourselves the final upgrade, but hopefully that'll make it possible as soon as we get into the next mission right here. So because of that though, yeah, today for this video is about the fact that we're going to be continuing things on in Old Clockworks, and this time we're going on to the next mission, which is C-3 Roundhouse Brawl. So naturally speaking, that was about the fact that I think this could be a huge opportunity for us though, that naturally we now need to able to get our hands on with the forms of that particular clock hand, as far as that particular poltergeist did somehow manage to able to steal one of these clock hands from us after the events of the previous mission. So despite the fact that we actually have to deal with not one, but 3 mummies, and actually, as it turns out, it was just greenies the whole time, but that's besides the point. So, anyways though, there's only one, another thing I totally forgot to mention about, is that yes indeed, much like the forms of how it does it on the first game, specifically the Japanese version to be more specifically, there is that one specific regional differences I forgot to mention about throughout the majority of the game Let's Play so far, and that's what appears to be about the fact that obviously though the Japanese version of Luigi's Mansion 2 was actually known as Luigi Mansion 2, so I just want to classify that, especially concerning for the fact I totally forgot to mention about that, so yeah, I just want to classify that. And that could be also applied to the fact that once we get into Luigi's Mansion 3 at some point until next year, until we wrap things up every single aspect when it comes to Luigi's Mansion trilogy of games, but that won't be for a while though, especially concerning for the fact that, well, today's date of course here is the 16th of September today, in some cases in 2024 today, so you know what that means, we're now on to the halfway point of September already.
Whoa.
So, yeah, naturally speaking, it's probably because of how the fact that we've only got about 15 more days to go until we're about to be approaching onto the 10th month, which appears to be October. So, either way, though, and also straight to the point is about the fact that this is where the later days, when it comes to weather conditions, alongside with the forms of the temperature and stuff like that, gets a little bit lower than I was expecting, because unlike the forms of how it does it in last year in 2023, that sometimes we're able to actually come across into ourselves some bad weather conditions and sometimes lower temperatures and all that stuff. And then one other days though, during the forms of in 2023, I think it's to be more specifically though, is during around that time in, I would classify for saying since in 9th of September last year or something like that, that's basically though we actually come across into the hottest day of the year for 2023, but that's not the case this time around though for this year in particular, for 2024 mind you, aside from the fact that we actually did manage to able to already stumble across into ourselves some hottest days in the past, for past few days, past few months, etc, because straight to the point is about the fact that we've almost there to the autumn season at this point. So anyway, also, I just want to classify this is about the fact that there's actually quite a lot of stuff I would like to mention about. That's what appears to be about the fact that you guys know about the fact that recently though, ever since in during the forms have been the 2nd of September or something like that, recently though, Keanu Reeves has recently turned 60 recently. So yeah, apparently though, about the fact that since we're going to be able to actually expect that Keanu Reeves is going to be voiced by Shadow, of course, from the likes of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 the movie, aka Sonic X Shadow Tokyo Mission in Japan. So relatively speaking though, I'm not exactly sure who's going to be voicing Shadow on the Japanese version of the 3rd Sonic movie, but I suppose we'll find out more about it during at some point at the very end of the year. So because of that though, specifically on the 27th of December, I almost said September for some reason because I keep thinking about The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom for some reason, but oh well. So, straight to the point though is about the fact that, as you can tell, we've already come across into ourselves the gold greenie right there earlier. That's just mainly because, apparently though, one of those treasure chests keeps on moving, and as a result though, we have to go after it until we decide to open it, so as a result, we can able to actually get ourselves, what else? The next gold greenie. So naturally though, we'll easily guarantee to able to get ourselves the glorious 3-star medal as to be expected, although mind you about the fact that I was expecting to try to able to go back to the previous missions off screen, so just to ensure I can get my best results, but I might try to save that up once I somehow manage to able to finish up every single aspect when it comes to the forms of Dark Moon Quest and all that stuff, so that's essentially how I roll with this. So anyways though, unfortunately though, about the fact that in the UK version of Netflix, unfortunately though, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie is about to be leaving soon, to be more specifically until the 9th of October, and I was like, well, that's disappointing. Well, luckily though, I still managed to get myself the DVD and Blu-ray release of the film, so it's not the end of the world personally though, but if you're pretty much used to with Netflix at this point, you might be felt a bit disappointed about the fact that certain films will be indeed get delisted at some point. So yeah, it's very unfortunate indeed, especially concerning for the fact that, well, straight to the point though is about the fact that I'm not a big fan of the forms of streaming services and all that stuff for some occasional moments, I must be honest here, especially concerning for the fact that, well, I believe that Pac-Man has already mentioned about this ever since enjoying the forms of in Pac-Man World for the Game Boy Advance version, that basically though is about the fact that recently though, Chicken Run, specifically on Disney Plus UK version, has already been delisted, probably because of the missed opportunity to able to actually include a DreamWorks movie on Disney Plus streaming services. So yeah, definitely a missed opportunity, especially concerning for the fact that, well, obviously though is about the fact that Disney was like, note to self, do not include the DreamWorks movie in a Disney company, which, as a result, again, because of the forms of how the fact that, you know, back in 1998, there was a massive competition between both Disney and DreamWorks. Like, one of those examples is, of course, Ants and A Bug's Life came out during around that time, but of course about the fact that they both reviewed very well, but usually A Bug's Life did manage to able to receive some very good box office performance, so, but that's besides the point. So anyway, let's go in here to able to actually have a bit of a wake-up call kind of syndrome or something like that. And what do I mean by that though is that, as you can tell, we need to pull this rock out, and I believe we need to aim for about 9 o'clock, at least as far as I can tell. So as soon as we're able to actually go all the way to 9 o'clock, or specifically 9 AM or something like that, basically we can able to wake up this particular greenie here, and if you've done so, obviously though, he got the gem, so we need to able to get that gem quickly before he goes away. So either way though, let's just go ahead and suck that greenie up, and as a result, we get ourselves the next glorious gem. How wonderful. So, anyway, before we continue things on though, I just need to double check if there are certain villagers I need to check, especially concerning for the fact that, again, I love discovering secrets in the Luigi's Mansion games like this, especially concerning for the fact that they are pretty fun to explore sometimes, even though despite the fact that a lot of people seem to do not like about the forms of mission structure, you know? Well, there's the ancient Poltergust right there, right onto that particular turntable right there, so we need to make our way for this point right there. But before we get into that though, there's also another thing I want to classify for mentioning about this particular point, is that I'm pretty sure that Pac-Man has already mentioned about this ever since in yesterday, that yes indeed, PlayStation 5 Pro is now exists, especially concerning for the fact that what's even crazier is about the fact that not only for its ridiculous price tag, but also about the fact that, like he stated before, 4 that's about to be coming and during around the exact same day, as in Mario Luigi Brothership is going to be releasing on a Nintendo Switch. So relatively speaking, I was about the fact that, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. I don't think it's possible for us to able to actually get ourselves the PlayStation 5 Pro after all, mainly because of this very, very inconsistent price tag. Like, obviously though, again, it costs about $700 or £700 in the UK. I understand with the phones there's excellent improvements over the likes of the phones of how it does it on the original PlayStation 5 model, as well as the phones of PS5 Slim, but regardless of everything else though, I highly doubt, I don't know if I can able to get that model at the end. So anyway, let's go in here for this particular transportation hall. Well then, it looks like we somehow bumped into Boo earlier, so I'm guessing about the fact that he's trying to able to actually get the key into the painting. So as you can see, we ended up in this conveyor belt right there, and if you try to keep on moving forward, obviously though there's no way for you to able to progress. So instead, we have to traverse into multitude of rooms, so naturally you can able to actually do it from here. Now before I do that, I just realized about the fact that if we go back into the Roundhouse, basically though, we need to able to go for this little tightrope walking kind of syndrome, or like anything else to be more specific. Although, mind you, similar to the forms of how it does it in Gloomy Manor, that basically does about the fact that we have to keep our balance. So, and then once we've done so, then obviously though we are able to come across into yet another treasure chest to reveal, what else? Another gem. So this time what appears to be a star-shaped gem. So, pretty cool. So naturally though, we can now head back into the transportation hall. So naturally though, we can now able to do some more things here and there. So anyways though, also about the fact that speaking of the forms of a lot of negativity has been going on, obviously though, a Minecraft movie has received a lot of dislikes aspect ratio, similar to the forms of how it does it in Disney Snow White live action remake. Well, that's just mainly because it just looks a bit not only out of place, but it's also very generic as well. In regards to the forms of the visual style and all that stuff, which again, I really do miss the old days, where the fact I really do miss hand-drawn animation and stuff like that, since in 2009, since, you know, The Princess and the Frog. Speaking of which though, it's about the fact I just realized that The Princess and the Frog is gonna be, let's just say, 15 years old until this coming few months of 2024, but I suppose that we'll let some toys else will mention more about it once we get to December. So anyway, let's go and collect some more red coins again, so just I'm sure we're able to actually get revealed something very rewarding, specifically those gold bars, and that's essentially how that goes basically. So either way, yeah, nothing right to home about, especially concerning for the fact at this point in time that several bonus rooms can be pretty tricky to accomplish. Well, it wasn't until whenever we get to later on, that is, because obviously though, I'll explain more details about that if we get into that specific bonus room that I keep on and on about, once we get to the forms of the later progressioning, that is. So, anyway, it was also kind of crazy about the fact that you can able to actually suck up the actual bomb right there whilst it's not going off or going on, so potentially though, you can able to actually do just that. So, I might be a little bit puzzled about this, especially for the fact that I know for a fact it's been about 3 days ago since I actually have last played this game for sure, especially concerning for the fact that I'm pretty sure we've only got about exactly 10 more days to go until The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch, so I'm not exactly sure if the reviews is actually going to turn out once the actual game comes out, so either way. And also, one thing you might able to realize is about the fact that you can't use your dark light for able to try to take down these very annoying greenies that has armor onto them. So basically, though, I suggest you're able to actually use the dark light right there. So naturally, though, you can able to actually get them out of the actual specific armor or specific equipment or anything else like that, just to make the entire combat system a lot more easy to manage. So, despite the fact it's a little bit more simplified compared to the forms of how it does on the first game, just because of all that, well, you get the idea, especially concerning for the fact that unlike the defaults of how it does it on the 3DS version of Luigi's Mansion 1, as well as the original Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS, sometimes though, I will admit though right away, it is kind of hard for me to go back into those two games nowadays, especially concerning for the fact that if you're trying to do a lot of like ghost catching system, basically though your hands will get cramped very easily, especially concerning about the fact that you're playing on the actual 3DS handheld, whilst unlike the defaults of how it does it with the actual controller, specifically the GameCube version of Luigi's Mansion 1, and nowadays with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD on the Switch, thank goodness the Pro Controller is a godsend, especially concerning for the fact that not only for its comfortable grip, but it's also about the fact that the control sticks are pretty much manageable, at least as far as, yeah, to me anyway, though, it's the most comfortable thing in the world. That could be also applied with Luigi's Mansion 3 as well, because the third entry in the series was only exclusive onto the Switch. So, anyway, so we did somehow manage able to suck up some more slammers here before we get our progressioning here, especially, as you can see, we have to load up specific bombs right there in order to able to progress for the actual weighing scales. So, and then in order to able to continue on further, we need to activate those bombs, so just in case we can now able to lower the platform right there, and now we can progress. So, pretty self-explanatory right there, especially concerning for the fact that, well, I pretty much know this mission from inside out, basically, so, also, speaking of which though, we've only got about 2 more weeks to go until Inside Out 2 on DVD and Blu-ray, including 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray as well, on the UK version anyway, is almost going to be releasing soon. So because of that though, still I'm basically excited for it, especially concerning for the fact I just cannot wait to able to rewatch Inside Out 2 over and over again, because still I just really love this film so much, especially concerning for the fact that still it's a great thing about the fact that Pixar is now finally making its own comeback after this washed out original movies during the events within the 2020s era, like Onward all the way up to Elemental when it comes to box office performance. So, but I still have no idea if Elo will able to actually make the actual specific well, box office department or something like that, but I suppose we'll find out more about it during that time. So, also I accidentally activated a ton of smoke, so this is a little bit confusing at points, but thankfully though, problem solved. Yeah, I think problem solved, yeah, because I believe, yeah, all the actual smoke is now gone, so yeah, everything else checks out there. So now we can able to proceed. And if I recall correctly, there might be a boo around. Oh, jeez. Not only there are some greenies here, but also something tells me about the fact that there might be a boo in here somewhere. Because as far as I'm aware, he might be appeared just about right now. So, and it's also worth noting for is about the fact that much like the defaults of how it does it on Mission 4, in Gloomy Manor, you always have to come across into this boo until you're able to actually progress even further. So it's always important to know you have to go after this boo before you continue. So, yeah, kind of convenient though, especially concerning for the fact that thanks to the logic of that specific cutscene, so everything else checks out there. So, anyway, so let's go and find him, and there he is. And he's only got 9 HP left. And straight to the point, there goes the 13th boo. So, yeah, not too shabby. Now, I'm pretty sure straight to the point is about the fact that I'm pretty sure we've almost at the halfway point in terms of capturing boos in this game in particular, because, well, again, it wasn't until later on, though, I will save that particular topic and during a later time, especially concerning, oh, jeez, we actually got ourselves the actual golden bomb right there. So, yeah, if you try to flash that, not only does it able to try to home in on you, but it's also about the fact that, well, it actually gives us money, so, good thing we somehow come across to that, so. Alright, so I guess we now ended up at the very end right there, and straight to the point, we can now able to obtain that particular key until we're able to actually decide to progress onwards. So, there we go. So in order to able to head back, you have to able to run on that particular spinny wheel thing. So it kind of reminds me of like a similar situation as in not only Mario Kart DS, but as well as Mario Kart 8, alongside with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with that particular track called TikTok Clock, where basically though you can able to actually hop onto these little cogwheels until you're able to actually get faster progression or something like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But anyway, now we can able to proceed into the actual roundhouse itself. So either way, specifically the turntable to be more specifically. So but anyway, before we deal with the forms of that particular project, guys, let me just quickly double check of what's beyond downstairs, as well as the forms of a lot of spiders and all that stuff, similar to the forms of how it does it in Gloomy Manor. Then naturally speaking, we have to take care of them, and also gold bars was there. And I suppose that's all there is to it, though. So I suppose we can now... Oh, wait a minute. There must be something in here. And actually, as it turns out, not only does it contain a chest of drawers, but also more money. It's always important that we always need to get more money in here. Alright, so here we go with the next sub-boss, but this time what appears to be known as Ancient Poltergeist, or anything else like that. Although, kind of thinking about it, it kind of reminds me like the forms of the exact same type of ghost as we saw, for the sake of the forms of back in Gloomy Manor, except this time that he's now in colored blue, and as a result though, about the fact that it's now going to take place in a different, battle arena or anything else like that. So generally speaking, every once in a while though, there are some more sneakers that we do need to take out, because obviously though, trying to take down sneakies is always important, and every once in a while though, is about the fact that the Ancient Poltergeist will decide able to toss bombs at us. So yeah, always have to watch out for bombs, because otherwise they'll do devastating damage to us. So, and obviously though, we don't want to get hit too many times, because obviously though, I was expecting to try to go... Wait a minute. Something tells me that sneaker was just, you know, disturbing that particular assumption with, you know what I'm talking about, with Ancient Poltergeist, but potentially speaking of, sometimes though, sneakers can be annoying at times, so, but that's just me. Alright, so, oh jeez, things get a lot more crazy around here, because now about the fact that those bombs decides to able to actually go exactly where I'm standing on, so... But yeah, there's nothing else I can really say about the forms of today's topic at this point, guys. I mean, straight to the point though, is about the fact that it is still pretty crazy about the forms of the price tag with PlayStation 5 Pro. Especially, I totally get it with some new features has been improved, but either way though, I still highly doubt it. I don't know if I can probably get it, to be honest with you. So either way, oh yeah, just like the forms of how it does it in Gloomy Manor though, there are a couple of times though about the fact that several projectiles were able to attack you and what have you. So yeah, best of sure about the fact that you always have to able to be very careful of that particular projectile attack. So anyway, now we've got one of those clock hands. So, oh wait a minute, I just realized I missed that particular gem behind there. Ah, oh, dang it. Maybe we will try to obtain that on the next mission, hopefully though, but if not, then I'm also able to do a massive editing stuff when it comes to likely trying to go after that specific gem. So, oh well, no big deal though, but at the very least we got one of those clock hand parts, so I believe we've only got about 2 clock parts left. So, one of them is actually going to be another hand, and one is the most important one when it comes to trying to well, adjust the actual clock itself. So either way though, so let's see how well we did in Roundhouse Brawl. So, oh look at that, we got ourselves a 3-star ranking medal. That's pretty top notch. And hopefully though, we might able to actually guarantee we will able to actually well, unlock the final upgrade for sure. So either way though, now I'm pretty sure about the fact that some missions might go a bit quicker than I was expecting. Well, most of the time though, until the later missions anyway though, it gets a little bit lengthier at points. So, but luckily though, that both Luigi's Mansion 2, the original, on the 3DS, alongside with 2 HD on the Switch, thankfully though, you can play this game on the go, so you don't have to worry about trying to switch the game off or anything else like that. So, but what I found was a little bit fascinating to me though, is that when it comes to physical media, for Luigi's Mansion games entirely, then it may look like that Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube is the only Luigi's Mansion game to only get like a physical disc, whilst unlike other games like, you know, Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS, alongside with Luigi's Mansion 3, and Luigi's Mansion 1 Remake on the 3DS, and same applies with Luigi's Mansion 2 HD on Switch, that's all like game card and all that stuff. So anyway, so we somehow made our way to the final upgrade, which is the Super Poltergeist. And basically what this does is that this way you can able to actually capture more ghosts much faster than before. So naturally though, it makes the entire capturing ghosts a lot more fun, and also on top of that, a lot more exhilarating at the same time. So yeah, it may look like we're now on to the halfway point in terms of the forms of, well, old Clockworks. So, I believe that hand that we somehow got, that's what appears to be the minute hand, because, you know, the minute hand is a lot more longer, as well as bigger as well, so it may look like the next item we do need to get is the hour hand, so, which is basically it's like a smaller version of that specific hand that we somehow got from earlier. So, yeah. Nothing else to say. So either way though, so suffice to say for this point folks, is that we get endings off this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Luigi's Mansion 2, aka Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, again if you lived in North America, and as far as Japan is concerned, Luigi Mansion 2. So anyway, and because of that, we're going to be moving on to the next mission right here, which is mission C-4 Play Catch. Oh, this sounds like fun. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later fellas.